Hello and welcome to the short presentation in which we'll explain some of the concepts of how to visualize and access data in the DHIS2. So I want to start off with some definitions which you will encounter when you are navigating the various data visualization applications. The first one being data elements, also referred to as event data items. And these are our raw data as they're entered on the data capture app. So in the Ascend program where we use the Capture app to record events, and every field on a form, data entry form, would be referred to as a data element. The second one is the event programs. The event programs is a collection of data elements captured at any time against an organization or unit. So in our case, when we open the Capture app and we would start entering a form, we would select, for example, an MBA campaign for LF, which would be referred to as an event program. Thirdly, there are program indicators, and these are indicators which are calculated within one single program. So, for example, all the indicators which are based on the information entered on an LF MBA program. An example of such an indicator would be the number of IUs where MBA treatment has been provided. This can only be calculated or is calculated based on information only available within the LF MBA program. So the form which contains all those data elements which allow you to calculate this specific indicator. Then there's general indicators, and these are actually values which are calculated from program data elements or program indicators across different programs. So in this case, an indicator could combine information which is collected in an LF MBA with indicators which are collected in a Onco MBA, for example. So you can actually combine the data elements which are collected via various programs into a single indicator. And the final definition is that of organization units, also referred to as org unit, which is the hierarchy of geographical locations. So if we look a bit closer at the org unit structure, as you will see, it reflects the project administrative structure. In our case, in Ascend, we use the following sequence, the following hierarchy. At the highest level, we have the global project, in this case, Ascend. Below Ascend, we recognize our countries, which are 12, which are also referred to as admin 0. So they're the first level administrative divisions which we use in the project. Then the second level in the hierarchy refers to the first level below a country, also referred to as admin 1. So in some cases these can be states, in other cases they refer to as provinces, but they're the first level below country. And then thirdly in our hierarchy we have our implementation units, and these can be referring to any administrative unit within a country, typically being districts or counties, or sometimes even smaller. So they can refer to anything from admin 2 to admin 4, what is reflected as an implementation unit. Now in the organization unit structure, you can also create groups. So these are artificial units, they're not real existing org units, but they group different org units into one group. So they can be used to organize a group of entities that have the same profile. So for example, all the IUs which are endemic for LF in Mozambique could be combined into one organizational unit group. So within this hierarchy, you will see that data can be aggregated up. So any number entered at the admin or at the third level, in the example showing here on the screen, referring to Upazilas in Bangladesh, which are the implementation units, they can be aggregated, for example, by summing them up to the district level. Again, summing the district levels up to the national level. So data can be aggregated up this hierarchy. So when we want to access this data to visualize them, either in a chart or table or map, there are always three elements which we need to define. And that basically is prescribed by the data model used in DHIS2, which has three main elements, which are what, where, and when. So for example, the number of TT surgeries, what, in Sidama, where, in May 2020, when. So you will see in the data model used in DHIS2 there's a whole range of values, just numbers, and for every number there's a definition of what that value means, where it was collected, and when it was collected. So when we want to access that data, we always have to define these three things. What data element do we need? For which region do we need it? So where? And for what period do we need it? So when? And you will see this in all the visualization apps, being reports or maps or charts. You always have to define these three. So in the data analysis, as mentioned, you can visualize your data using different types of visualizations. So data visualization, using the data visualization app, for example, as said, can be used to combine data from different programs into a single chart, while an event report will only be able to summarize data from a single program or a list of events. And finally, maps can be used to show different types of indicators across programs again. Now, these different types of visualizations in turn can be combined into a standardized dashboard. So this allows you to predefine how data needs to be visualized and store these on a dashboard, and anytime somebody logs in, they just need to access the dashboard to get an instant overview of that data. Apart from the three visualizations I mentioned on the previous slide, there's also something which is called reports. And the reports is a specific type of HTML-defined visualization. And for Ascent, we've set up a predefined report which gives a summary of all MDA treatments across all different disease programs into a single table. So this summary report actually combines all the program indicators which we have defined for each of the programs into a single table, which is HTML formatted and can be filtered for different periods and different regions, and the resulting report table can be downloaded as a CSV. This is especially convenient when preparing, for example, for a JRF submission, in which you want to get the latest overview of the program status within different countries. All the indicators will be conveniently summarized onto one table. So if you want to export these data or share any interpretations of the data, there's a number of options which I will quickly go over now. So firstly, if you want to export your data, you can download it by the following sequence of steps. First, you go to your dashboard, you click on the specific chart or table which you want to download, and you choose the app which was used to create that specific element. In the example here, you see a chart which is created in the Data Visualizer app. So here you select Open in Data Visualizer app. So when you're in the Data Visualizer app, you can go to the download menu, and there will be a number of options to download the content either as an image or a PDF, but also you can download the underlying data in an Excel, CSV, or JSON format, whatever is most convenient. Another way of sharing data is by actually providing access to the source page on which it was created. So in this example, we have an event report, which is created and stored. And once such an event report has been formatted and stored, saved with a name, it will be giving an ID, which you can see at the last part of the URL here. There's the ID, which refers to this specific table, which is shown on the screen. So by sharing that link, given that people have access rights to your database and the correct viewing rights, they will be able to navigate directly to this specific page on your dashboard. Equally, you could create a link which refers to the download table, so you can actually pull the data out into different applications. There's also the option of sharing interpretations onto a dashboard. So if you have predefined visualizations ready and stored onto a dashboard, if you open those, you can and you find something strange, you can actually make a little remark or interpretation with that specific data visualization with those specific settings, and that will be stored together with that specific picture. Now the interpretation will be appearing in the messaging box in the top bar of your DHIS2, but if all settings have been set correctly, you could also configure the system to send an SMS or WhatsApp to a specific group of users to make them aware that their attention is required regarding a specific interpretation of the data visualized on the dashboard. So in here you can see I just added a small interpretation saying this is exciting for a specific chart. This is the end of this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we will see you in the demonstration of how this actually is done in real time. Thank you very much.